Welcome back.
Welcome.
My goodness, this is a guest house. This is a guest house, right?
I assume so. I don't know where else we could possibly be this time of night. Oh my goodness. We've got Best Girl here.
It's Erika time. It's been so long.
We haven't seen her since before the murders happened.
What's Erika even done this episode except just ruin Maria's dreams?
I mean, that's most of it.
Oh yeah, she also complained about our boyfriend, and there was that brilliant line about how she'd found evidence that she loved him and he loved her.
There was no evidence.
Found evidence that he hadn't cheated.
Yeah, she was like, I haven't found evidence that you haven't cheated, so I can't trust you.
It's so fucking stupid.
I don't know, I think we learned a lot about her character there.
I think we did learn a lot about her character, but I don't know if I quite understand what we learned about her character.
I mean, I don't want to talk too much about her just yet, because I'm waiting, but like, we're kind of learning why she's such a seeker of, you know, the truth, in quotation marks. We're learning just why the way that she is. And it's because she just doesn't trust people.
Yeah.
She thought that her boyfriend was cheating on her, and he couldn't prove that he wasn't. So she was like, I'm just not going to chance it. I'm not going to trust.
Which is...
investing myself emotionally.
Is very interesting when we consider that her theory fell apart last episode because she trusted people's testimony.
Yep.
That they were dead.
Yeah.
And considering that she seems to remember the last game board, I imagine that will probably be relevant in some way.
There's definitely a link there in those two lines of thinking. But yeah, there's definitely a thing going on. As I said, like, all the victims of the first Twilight that we got to kind of have a chat with were like, there was this big investment of love that I made, and I'm waiting for it to pay off. And Erika's like, I am not trusting enough to make that investment. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I find her an immensely interesting character, even if I despise her completely. But that's what Ryukishi does.
Alrighty. Erika was dozing off on her bed, so when a knock sounded on the door, it took some time before she noticed. She looked at the clock and saw that not much time had passed since she'd lain down.
Yes, who is it? I hope you have a good reason for knocking on the detective's door at an hour like this.
What a fucking opening.
Perfect.
That's right. I have one thing to say before we begin this game.
Oh, that detective proclamation thing. Do as you wish.
No, I mean the opposite. I say we raise the stakes.
Raise the stakes?
What's happening? What is going on?
I don't know.
I don't like this.
She's raising the stakes.
I don't like anything that Erika's done this episode.
What do you mean?
It's just...
She's trustworthy, I'm sure.
There's just something off about it.
Hey, what else?
Now that sounds interesting. What do you mean?
Hey, witches, what up?
It's simple.
Oh god, they're all at him. This is...
It's fine, it's fine.
This is a fight.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
This is a fight.
Don't worry about it.
I'm worried.
I guarantee with certainty... I guarantee nothing with certainty.
Good.
That's her job.
Good.
It's simple. Battler got a shot off at us at the last game. So if Erika does the same in this game, we're only even. Wasn't the last game a tie? We failed to win a game that should have been a shoo-in, right? If that is no loss, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, Erika? Yes, my master. If I hadn't failed so miserably, we would have won that game easily.
Oh, I get it. So this time you'll intentionally fight at a disadvantage by not making a detective proclamation and win despite that. You're scheming not only to wipe out your loss from the previous game, but to totally flip the score upside down, right?
What?
Ben,
what?
You know what happens if we totally flip the score upside down?
What?
It means that all the kills are on the detective side.
You think?
I don't like this, Ben.
What do you think? I don't know what you think is going on.
I think Eric is killing some bitches this episode.
I don't know. I can either confirm or deny anything.
You intend to participate in the game, Battler Sign Porter's heart and soul into with a foolish handicap like that? That is not only presumptuous, it's quite rude.
They're gonna fuck this up so bad. You got a point there. It sounds more like an excuse just in case they lose.
True, you could also look at it that way. If they win, it's a great victory, but if they lose, Erika's side has a nice little excuse. Isn't that a bit unsporting?
Don't worry, this bet is balanced on both sides.
I don't think it is.
If this game is won by a human without the detective proclamation, it'll be impossible for Battler and the others to pick up the pieces of the illusion of the witch. But on the other hand, if Erika loses, that detective trash will be sent into the depths of oblivion along with the worst possible fragment.
They just called Battler's game the worst possible fragment.
No comment.
What a dig.
See? That's balance, isn't it? An ultimate victory with a mere human, not a Superman detective, destroying the illusions of the witch. She's putting her own destruction on the line to make that bet. I've gotten bored with these sluggish repeating games that you and the former Beato made. So, we're raising the stakes and settling it all at once.
Well, that is true. If Battler makes it through this game,
Why is that in bold?
it'll mean that Battler has won Beato's game and the game will end. In a sense, it's a showdown you can't escape, right?
But there are still 2 more episodes to go, Lambda.
I'm sure it's fine.
I see your position. Are you okay with that, Erika?
Yes, of course. In order to regain my master's trust in me, which was lost by my previous defeat, I will risk even my own destruction.
Is that of your own will?
Maybe.
I don't like
I don't
this.
think it is of her own will.
What's wrong, Erika? Answer him, okay? Obviously, this is my own will.
Oof.
I certainly will not lose.
Oh.
Oh, that's painful.
Oh.
Even without the detective proclamation, I will defeat you no matter what.
Bitch is gonna
She does
kill
not.
someone.
She does not sound. She doesn't sound good
I
about
don't
this.
like this.
I don't like any of this.
I don't like this.
Battler-san.
Sure, that's fine. If that's what you want, I'll accept that challenge.
Thank you very much. I'll make sure you regret it.
Sportsmanship!
Thank you. You'll regret this.
After all, when Battler played for the human side, he never had anything as convenient as the detective's authority. All he was allowed to do was use the blue truth and demand that Beato repeat things he said.
Exactly. In a way, the last game was unfair. We failed to win despite that, which is why it was no different from a loss.
I'm just really shitting on Erika here.
Yeah.
Do what you want. If you feel like making a detective proclamation, do it whenever you like. I understand that you're holding it in reserve at the moment.
As if I'd use such a thing. Against an opponent like you.
Who I lost against.
Yeah. In the last game.
Then get started, you two. I'm already starting to get bored. Leave it to me, my master. I will destroy the illusion of the witch for you without fail.
I feel like that is subjective untruth. Considering that you've already failed once.
No, we're fine. No more failures.
George and Jessica had been the ones knocking on Erika's door. They were asking whether Battler and Maria had come to this room. Of course they hadn't.
A good while ago, they went downstairs saying they wanted to get something to drink. We thought they might have come to your room. Of course not. Why would they? Are you sure they didn't go to the mansion?
You know, it would be real fitting if fucking, if Battler's offed himself in the first Twilight.
You think so?
Considering that under my culprit theory, Beato offed herself first in her first 3 games.
I can either confirm or deny anything.
This is Jessica, right? Yeah.
Yes.
We called the servant room and the dining hall of the mansion, but no one picked up.
She's like, oh, it's the murder. Let's go.
Please stay here, you two. I'm going to check the mansion. Hey, it's dangerous to go out this late.
Take this.
Take what? He has nothing to give her.
He probably has the tape.
Oh, of course.
How could a stranger sneak into this sealed-off island? Stay in that cousin room of yours. I'll contact you if anything happens. Also, tell the servants in the guest house servant room not to leave the building. Bye.
Wait a second, Erika-san.
She's a strange kid.
Hey. After speaking her mind and not listening to anything else,
Yeah.
Erika dashed down the stairs and rushed outside.
She's so ready.
The first Twilight usually starts in the morning, but it looks like we've got an early fight this time. No crime has occurred in the guest house, so that means the stage of the tragedy is in the mansion.
I love that she just didn't even fucking check the guest house.
No, she just left.
Though she had an umbrella up, Erika got drenched as she sprinted.
Oh my god.
She brashly licked the raindrops that dripped down her face. Erika was at her most energetic. This bitch!
She's gone crazy. She's gone crazy.
This is not right. There is something very wrong here. According to her memory from the previous game, the entrance hall to the mansion would be locked after the start of the family conference. However, the lock was undone this time. Had someone unlocked it, or had the lock not been set? Or had it not been possible to set the lock?
Good. Well, no point thinking about it now. After all, that might just be a whim of the Game Masters.
So don't think about that.
I am...
Do you want to go back?
I am scared. No, it's fine.
Okay.
I remember very clearly what was just said, but...
Okay.
Don't worry. It might just be a whim of the Game Master.
It will be a whim of the Game Masters and not at all important, I'm sure.
This reminds me of all the times I looked at things and were like, that's a red
It's
herring.
atmosphere.
It's atmosphere.
Yeah.
As soon as she entered the entrance hall, the door to the parlor opened violently. Out of it flew Goda's large body.
Yes!
Ah, good evening, Goda-san. Is something the matter?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Police ambulance! Whoa, 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 whoa.
That is not a scared sounding man.
Yes, it is.
That expression really is wonderfully pathetic. Just perfect for the first one to discover the crime. Please, calm down. How could the police or an ambulance get to an isolated island inside a typhoon?
By a submarine.
I'm sure the phones are out anyway, so please calm yourself.
I'm sure the phones are out. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Oh my god.
Yells from Cross and Rudolph's group could be heard from the parlor.
No?
Their shaken appearance perfectly signified the coming of the first Twilight.
Well then, give me the victims, the scene, and a reconstruction of the situation.
Those who left to take a break didn't come back, so the adults went to the parlor. When they did, the door was sealed from the inside and they couldn't open it. You'll see later, but the hat stand in the parlor had been used to bar the double doors from the inside, so Battler's dead!
So you're trying to say that the door was blocked from the inside, and the windows were also locked from the inside?
That's it. When they went around and looked into the parlor through the window, they saw Rosa lying on the sofa in an unnatural position with blood pouring from her forehead. They then smashed the glass, entered the parlor, and discovered that Maria was also there, lying by the wall and covered in blood.
Got it. Yes, that would make them yell. And the other crime scenes?
The entrance wasn't locked when you came into the mansion because they went through it to check the parlor from the outside. They'd been locked before they left through it, so there was a chance that the others who'd gone missing were lying elsewhere within the mansion. And the adults are now searching the entire building.
So, do the places the victims died match that long, crazy delusion you showed earlier?
They match.
Rosa and Maria were in the parlor. Beyond that, Natsu was in her own room and Kira was in Kras's study. Ava was in the rose garden. No, wait, she was moved to the VIP room, wasn't she?
Yeah. Ava's corpse was found in the VIP room.
That makes 5 victims. Ah, that's one short for the first Twilight. Who's the 6th person and where?
Who could it be? It's a mystery.
It's gonna be bad luck. It's gonna be bad luck.
Rosama! The chain on this room is also set! Cut it! The culprit might be hiding in there.
Ooh, what if that's what all of the nightmare sequences were about?
What do you think? I don't know. We'll find out.
Go to do it.
Go to Best Boy.
Rudolph and Kraus had brought Winchesters from Kinzo's prize collection. They yelled at Goda, who was carrying the wire cutters, to cut the chain. I just want Hideyoshi again. I want the Hideyoshi sprite.
You went in with the gun?
Yeah.
Best sprite.
The victims had been found one after another at several locations inside the mansion. The men who had lost their wives searched through the mansion in a rage looking for the culprit. This was a guest room. It had previously been a room where the relatives would stay, but it hadn't been used much since the construction of the guest house. This forgotten room had been sealed from the inside by the chain. Yeah, this is the nightmare one.
Here we go.
This is the nightmare one.
Yeah.
As soon as the chain was cut, Rudolph pushed Goda aside and flew into the room.
Is anyone there? Get out here! There's someone on the bed!
Let's get some light, Aniki.
Nailed it. Nailed it!
When Kraus pushed the switch on the wall, the guest room lit up, and the figure lying on the bed came into view. Nailed it. Nailed it.
Congratulations.
I'm so happy because he's died for once. It's not happened yet.
Oh my god.
He's been the last one alive every time.
And now this is it.
Every time. And we're finally here. We got him an accomplice last game and he's dead this game.
You gotta kill yourself every once in a while. That's the lesson we're learning.
He's fucking dead.
But Battler,
Damn it, what are you doing in a place like this?
The only problem is now I don't get to play Battler on the game board. I'm a little sad, but
No.
it's worth it. Rudolph's knees crumpled and he fell over Battler's corpse. No words can console him as he cried with a mad sorrow. In a single night, he'd lost both his wife and his son. During this time, Kraus checked the window in the bathroom and searched the closet to find if anyone was hiding there, but found no one.
Battler, damn it, how sad.
I can't believe it, but this room is also a closed room.
What, again?
Yes. My study where Kirie-san was, Natsui's room, the VIP room with Eva, the parlor with Rosa and her daughter, and now Battler-kun in this guest room. They're all closed rooms, aren't they? I don't understand. It couldn't be suicide, could it?
It's impossible. How could this be a suicide? Ah, Battler.
Man, this is like the first time we haven't seen Rudolph talk shit about his son. It's almost sad.
It's almost like he cares about him deep
It's
down.
almost like he does care about him.
That wonderful idiot. Oh, there's a surprise. To think that you yourself would be the sixth person.
It's more interesting to kill yourself off every now and then.
Let's just keep going.
There's no need to comment on that.
And all of the crime scenes are closed rooms. It's a murder that couldn't have been performed without magic. Isn't seeing through that the point of this game? In other words, it must be a murder that could have been performed without magic. After all, if it really could be done only with magic, this wouldn't be a game.
It's an interesting thought. Yeah, that's the sort of game we've been playing. This game is fair. The goal is to explain it without magic, the strange crime. Explain without magic the strange crimes that are claimed to be caused with magic. If that couldn't be done, it wouldn't be a game.
Yeah.
In other words, as Erika had said, they must be murders that could have been performed without magic. To turn it around, the witch side had a certain responsibility. They had to make a crime that could be reproduced with tricks and not magic. Unless the human side could see through those tricks, the witch side could use all kinds of magic and illusions. In other words, in order to carry out a closed room murder with magic, it was necessary to create a crime that would be possible by human hands. Now I understand. I see why when I ordered the Seven Sisters to kill my classmates back at St. Lucia's, they couldn't do what I told them. And I understand the meaning of Mammon's words.
Magic can only do what you can accomplish by your own hands, is that it?
That time, if I'd possessed the determination to kill my classmates. No, that's not it. That time, if I had been capable of killing my classmates, capable of pulling it off, then the Seven Sisters of Purgatory would probably have pulled it off for me. They could only accomplish what I could do myself. No, that's not it either. They could take what I had accomplished and turn it into magic. However, because there had been a great number of witnesses in that classroom, probably would have been impossible. Would have been burned by that anti-magic toxin Maria One-chan and the others always talk about. However, if I had called those classmates out somewhere without witnesses, and if I had succeeded in murder, at that point the Seven Sisters of Purgatory would be capable of carrying out a magical murder. Even with magic, witches cannot do things that they cannot accomplish by themselves. They can only adorn things they're capable of doing with magic.
Interesting. And that is because those who accomplish something without using magic, they claim that magic was used and call themselves witches. This Erika person has understood that since the beginning. That's why she will never surrender to witches. She is confident that it must be explainable with tricks. The old battler was toyed with so frequently because he did not possess that conviction.
Once you see through that rule, the witch loses any chance at victory. That's why they have to make their opponents surrender before they see the truth of that rule. The longer the match is drawn out and the more hints are given, the greater the witch's overwhelming disadvantage becomes. Once again, this reasoning keeps spinning around in circles. Why did Beto let this game get drawn out until she lost? It's almost like it wasn't the point.
It's almost like we've covered this.
I know, right?
Yeah, well that's fine though. Chiro is all about like expanding on things and making things more clear.
Many victims had been found and the mansion was still wrapped in chaos. The Yoshi's group seemed to have gone to the guest house worrying about the safety of the kids there. Grass and Rudolph's group was in the hall talking about what should be done next. During a short gap in this chaos, Erika dashed all about the mansion. She was checking the crime scenes. Normally with the detective's authority, Erika had the right to openly investigate the crime scenes to her heart's content. However, this time, she hadn't made use of that authority. She was a guest and an outsider, so there was little to no chance that she would be allowed to... Hold on a second.
What? Did you see something? Oh my god.
So Erika is alone, running about the mansion.
Yes.
Okay.
It's fine.
She's killing people.
Don't worry about it. It's
She's
fine. No,
fucking.
she's just checking the
she's
crime.
fucking
She's
killing
checking
people.
the crime
She's
scene.
fucking killing.
She's checking the crime
She's
scenes.
fucking killing people.
She's fine. She's completely innocent.
So she was forced to quickly check all of the crime scenes now, while she could still run about as she pleased. In the servant room, there had been a clear folder containing a sketch of the mansion's interior. I'd love to see that sketch, Ryukoshi.
It doesn't exist. There's no way. It's impossible.
Because she borrowed that, she knew the locations of all the rooms. Erika skillfully made her way through the mansion, dashing into each crime scene in turn, fucking killing them all. Lady Erika, I believe you know, but allow me to warn you just in case.
Yes, what is it?
It is true that you have an incredible photographic memory, Lady Erika. That combined with the detective proclamation is what made it possible for you to avoid being deceived by anything.
Yeah, I get it. Since no detective proclamation has been made about me, even my photographic memory doesn't count as foolproof evidence. Of course, I understand that. Still, that doesn't mean I can afford to miss viewing the crime scenes directly.
It's really weird because it sounds like Battler's dead, so we don't have him as the detective.
I know.
Kyrie is dead, so the reliable
detective?
perspective's gone.
Yes.
The reliable mind's gone, and Eric is not the detective,
Who
and
is
is
the-
clearly killing people.
Who is the detective?
We don't have one.
You don't think so? You think you can have a murder mystery without a detective?
I will.
Do we want
laugh
to check the
so
rules?
hard
Because
if it is fucking Shannon and Cannon.
Oh,
that
right.
would be the perfect twist.
That'd be pretty great.
But then again, that feels kind of predictable if the culprit theory is true.
I know. We'll see.
Anyway.
After all, in the last game, my pride in that regard led me to a truly miserable failure.
For example, by this argument, no matter how well you examine a person's corpse, you could not even guarantee that they were not faking their death without absolute certainty. So instead, you could run around the mansion, kill all of them to make sure they are dead.
I can either confirm or deny any of this.
Ugh!
Of course.
This feels so ham-fisted, it feels so obvious. Most probably, features of this situation must be individually confirmed by telling Battler to repeat them in red.
And I'll need to use the blue truth liberally in order to make him. I understand. Let's start with the basics. The lack of the detective's authority is no handicap. It simply means that I'm fighting under the same conditions Battler once was. Yes, this fight is retracing the old days when Battler and Beato fought so fiercely. I have nothing as convenient as the detective's authority. I just have to truly fight the same way the old Battler fought. Thinking of it this way, it may be true that I was given quite a favorable, unfair position last game, just as my master has said. It may be difficult without the detective's authority, which is also my pride and honor as a detective, but I won't let that be a handicap. I know what magic is, and I'm fully aware of how to fight with the red and blue truths. I know the way to fight in this game many times better than the old Battler did. I quickly visited the VIP room, Krause's study, and Natsu's room on the second floor, as well as the parlor and the guest room on the first floor. Is this the first time we've seen it from her perspective?
I think it is.
Which makes sense because she's not, she doesn't have the detective's authority. As well as the parlor and the guest room on the first floor. This time checking with my own eyes, as I had failed to do so in the last game.
That also means if she now sees Shannon and Cannon, it's no longer a problem.
That is true. We don't have to worry about her perspective being an issue.
First off, all the scenes were made to look like closed rooms. Probably of special note was the fact that the master keys could have had nothing to do with the trick.
I do love the made to look like closed rooms, because like it's the obvious wording, but I think it's the first time that the person we've got a perspective from has actually phrased it that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, the way that you've solved all the previous closed rooms, 90% of them have not actually been closed rooms, we've just been told that they are, right? Like...
I think 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Even I think the only exception would be, under my theory, would be episode 2's Shannon, Goder, and George, which was murder-suicide.
Yes.
in the theory.
That would be the only one that is like a proper closed murder under your theory. But yeah.
The closed rooms were all made without relying on any elements that could be locked or unlocked from the outside by a master key or something else. The windows were locked from the inside, and the doors were all locked and chained. A master key could get around all the locks on the doors, but not the window locks or the chain locks. I haven't yet had Butler confirm that it's impossible to manipulate those on the outside, but I'm sure he'll be able to say it in red. It'd be stupid otherwise. I understand. Right now, I'm a mere human. I can't even properly confirm the death of the corpses. Last time, I neglected to check the corpses and let a massive bit of magic get by me. I won't fail like that again. If I did, I wouldn't be able to face the master I am so indebted to.
Why is she indebted to her master anyway?
I don't know. I don't even want to try thinking about that right now because I will be stuck.
That's alright.
We have checked all of the scenes and finished gathering information. Here is our report.
Go ahead.
First, all of the rooms were closed rooms formed by the window locks and chain locks and the like, so that interference from the outside would be difficult. The only exception is the parlor where Rosa and Maria lay dead. Please allow me to speak. Let it be known that the door was barred with a hat stand.
Thank you.
It is thought to be substantially the same as the chain lock in that it can only be set from the inside. It is probably their goal to construct closed rooms where explanations using master keys are made completely ineffective. The parlor has no chain lock due to its very nature, so it is natural that something else would be used in the chain's place. In that case, the interesting question becomes why one of the other rooms with the...
yeah, that's
half
me.
a point.
That's me. That's fine.
In that case, the interesting question becomes why one of the other rooms with chain locks wasn't chosen to be a closed room. There were several guest rooms other than the one Battler lay dead in, all with same layouts, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
In that case, even though it should have been more beautiful to throw them in there, so that everyone would be inside a chain lock closed room, they did not. The hat stand door bar in the parlor seems very suspicious. I should probably pursue this when demanding red truths. Also, we have corpses, but are they the same absolute deaths with their necks sliced open like in the last game, which could be confirmed even without the detective's authority?
Of course, she'd checked all of the corpses in all of the crime scenes this time. However, without the detective's authority, she had no guarantee that she'd be able to see through any fake deaths with certainty. The old battler had also started fighting by doubting whether the victims were truly dead. It was the same for Erika. Please allow me to speak. Know that there were no corpses that could have been confirmed dead with certainty by physical means. Please allow me to speak. We cannot deny the possibility that any one of the corpses might be a fake death.
Well, I doubt Battler would easily confirm these deaths in red, even if I tell him to. Oh god, words. Sheesh.
Flipping words around.
I like Beato's chain of 6 closed rooms better. However, these closed rooms are even more complete, considering the master keys don't help you at all.
There are two general ways of breaking closed rooms that Battler might be after. An illusion of a closed room or an illusion of a crime. It'll be one of those.
I'll get the first one. That's when something looks like a closed room, but it actually isn't, right? So what do you mean by an illusion of a crime?
An illusion that makes it seem as though a crime has occurred. In other words, are they really dead?
Well, that's dumb. If the people inside are alive, handling any kind of closed room is like pissing in a toilet. Still, with a closed room, it's pretty hard to think of any other answer.
So rude.
What about the endless possibilities of manipulating the chain lock from the outside? We don't know if there are secret doors, ways to kill from a distance, chances of suicide, or even whether these are complete closed rooms in the first place.
I already know since I'm looking at Battler's game board from the underside, but these are perfect closed rooms. They can only be constructed from the inside, and there exists no method by which to construct, deconstruct, or interfere from the outside.
Can you say that in red?
That'll be a little rude to Battler, so no. If you do love me, you must see my words as red truth already, right?
Then the closed rooms are perfect. In other words, this is an illusion of a crime.
It does seem that way. If so, these are all trick closed rooms. Doesn't this mean that everyone got so pissed at Erika bragging about detectives and stuff that they joined together and set up a fake murder to make fun of her?
What? No!
That is exactly what's happened. Lambda, you've done it again.
What? I love you!
Oh, is that the right answer? I'm like a super detective.
Unfortunately, this isn't a fake. The victims really have been killed.
Huh, and you don't mean by midnight on the second day, right?
No detective proclamation has been made, but she's very accurate when examining corpses. She's good enough that I can give her examinations the red truth.
She's fucking killed them all.
Shh, shush you.
She's just fucking, she's like, oh, I see what's going on here.
I can either confirm or deny anything.
So? Does that mean that they were definitely dead when Erika examined their corpses?
Yes, that's right. Totally.
But you won't say it in red for her, right? And then poor Erika must want it so bad.
Well, she isn't even the detective this time around. I won't give her any red.
Still, that makes it incredible. This time Balor's really made a perfect closed room.
Oh yes, I believe you're right.
Will Erika be okay? It looks like an ordinary closed room murder at a glance, but this one is pretty nasty. Won't this load be a bit too heavy for Erika without a detective's authority?
She is a self-proclaimed detective. I'm sure she'll pull through. If Battler and Beards were defeated by a mere human who isn't even a detective, they'd fall apart in the most exquisite way, don't you think?
And even if Erika loses, you get to play by throwing her in the worst fragment and locking her into the depths of oblivion?
Exactly. No matter how it turns out, it won't be boring.
You really are heartless, aren't you? Well, wringing out this like a black this black cat like a towel and licking up every last drop is bliss to me.
Beautiful.
Beards' game board did entertain me for quite some time, but we've already wrung everything we can from it. It'll be over with this game, so in the end, we really must let Battler and Erika bet everything on one final face-off.
And I wanted to play with you forever in this game. What a shame.
Come now. I've spent plenty of time with you already. Go find me another interesting game. If you do, I'll play with you again.
Yeah, you really don't let me get bored. That's okay, Burncaster. Seeing your face twist with anguish is the one forbidden honey I've found for myself.
Take it.
Yeah, I'll go for it. Lambda Delta had guaranteed that it was a perfect closed room. Burncaster had guaranteed that it was a perfect murder. A perfect closed room and murder. The witches hated Killjoy, so
I
they
love how they put closed room followed by murder.
No comment.
That was
No
so
comment.
fucking intentional.
It's a closed room and a murder.
So fucking intentional.
The witches hated Killjoy, so they haven't said anything with the red truth yet. Pursuing that was the role for Battler and Erika.
I'm so onto Ryukashi this time. This, like,
I don't know, my dude. We'll see.
like last time I was getting the scent of it from covering the corpses. This time I'm sold.
We'll see
Money
what happens.
on the fucking
We'll
table.
see what happens, my dude.
Money is on the
I
table.
can either convert or deny. Of course.
Looks like you've trampled all over the crime scenes by now. Satisfied? Is your inspection complete?
Yes, I'm satisfied. So, about our war of red and blue. Shall we start right away? Or do it all at the end?
I don't like putting things off. I think the same goes for you.
Then let's get started with the closed rooms of the first Twilight. First, I'd like to check. Do you intend to respond if I ask you to repeat something in red?
Depending on what you say, yes. I have no obligation to respond to everything, and I won't reveal my reasons when I refuse.
Good. Then let's start simple and confirm the definition of a closed room. Glanor, please read it aloud.
Understood. We demand that the following be repeated. Lenore spread out one of the scrolls that some official would always spread out when announcing the king in Western fairy tales and read it aloud. First, the rooms with the 6 people in them are closed rooms. Acknowledged. Of course, that's only until Goder and the others severed the chains and destroyed the closed rooms. But a nod from Lenore, Cornelia, who stood behind her, started taking notes. Second, the definition of a closed room implies that it is impossible to construct from the outside. Acknowledged.
In other words, no trickery done from the outside can construct a closed room. It is not permitted for a chain lock to be reset from the outside by a cleverly used wire, for example. I didn't need you to tell me that. Glanor, please continue.
I was a dig at the audience.
Wow, that was rude.
Third, the definition of a closed room implies that all forms of interference that pass between the inside and outside of the room are prevented. Acknowledged. However, I won't deny the kinds of interference that you'd expect from a normal room, such as Knox voices and the extension telephone line. Fourth, at the time of the deconstruction of the closed rooms, none existed within the rooms except the victims. Natsui, Ava, Kyrie, Rosa, Maria, Battler. Acknowledged.
Cool. Well, this is easy.
In this way, they could confirm whether or not the culprit had been hiding inside a closed room. If the culprit had slipped out of the room after the discoverers had noticed the murders and then walked away, it would have been possible to construct an illusion of a closed room. Because Battler had acknowledged their statement with the red truth, the possibility that the culprit and the victim had both been inside the closed room at the time of the crime, and that the culprit had hidden under the bed and snuck out after the discovery of the crime, had been denied. Fifth, no murder was committed after the deconstruction of the closed rooms. I refuse.
Why?
Erika fucking killed them!
Because the victims really were alive after the closed rooms were destroyed. So Krause and others who barged in were the culprits who committed the murders then. In other words, they were post-closed room murders. Is that why you refuse?
The thing that's really fun for me now is trying to figure out whether Erika knows that she killed everyone.
I don't know.
In the meta space.
What is the difference between Erika and Erika?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Not at all. The murders will continue to occur, so we cannot say in red that no murders will happen after this. Sheesh, what twisted logic. You probably see what you're getting at. What we're getting at. Krause's group cut the chain and destroyed the closed rooms, then killed the people inside. I just want you to counter this.
Lady Erika, it is insufficient to refer to Krause's group, an unspecified number of people.
Oh boy.
You should first determine which humans entered the room after the closed room was deconstructed. Allow me to speak. Accepting the victims, those who entered the rooms were Krause, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda. Allow me to speak. This is based on spoken testimony. Note that there is no proof that the others did not enter.
I know that already. Let's have you repeat that. After the deconstruction of the closed rooms, then, excluding me, only Krause, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda entered the rooms.
Sure. Acknowledged. However, this only applies to the current point in time. It's possible that some later development in the game will cause more people to enter.
Repeat it. Krause, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda are not culprits.
Battler put his finger on his chin, deep in thought. His word culprit was fairly broad, and it might serve to greatly restrict the darkness of the witch.
Why not answer? If we refuse, their blue truth naming Krause and us as the culprits will remain.
Sure. I'll acknowledge it, but I'll make the language more strict. Krause, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda were not involved in the murders of Natsui, Eva, Kyrie, Rosa Maria, and Battler.
Good red.
And that means it was also impossible for any of the other humans who didn't even enter the closed room to have been involved with murder, doesn't it?
Who knows? Think about it yourself. If you think you can build up some blue truth for how closed room murder can be committed without entering the room, then I'll respond with a red truth.
What I like is that Battler, he looks kind of smug. Always like, I'm the game master now.
That's what's making me wonder whether Erika knows what she's done.
Oh god. Battler.
Assuming that's what she's done, but assuming with money on the table.
Oh god.
However, I only need to destroy one of the blue truths you'll be presenting from here on out. In other words, even if you do manage to use the blue truth and explain this away with some long-distance closed room murder trick X, I don't necessarily have to counter that with the red truth. These are the rules of the witch's game, and you'd confirm these details with Beato in the 4th game. The witch side lays out riddle after riddle that it claims are impossible to carry out except by magic. The human side must use the blue truth to argue that they are explainable with tricks. And if they fail to make a counter-argument with the blue truth for even one of the riddles, that riddle would be considered to have been done by magic, and it will be impossible to deny the existence of the witch. In other words, the witch side only needs to protect any one of its riddles. However, the human side has to fully explain all the riddles with the blue truth. And even if the human side manages to explain all of the riddles with the blue truth, if any one of those is successfully countered by the red truth, the witch will win. That was why, like the strategy the old Beato had adopted at the end, it was sufficient for the witch's side to put off their red text counter-arguments until the very last moment, then make a single strike at their opponent's most fragile spot.
In any event, you've refused to repeat that last one, right?
Don't get the wrong idea. I don't give out red for free.
You just did.
Yeah.
From the witch side's perspective, repeating statements made by the human side is just a supplement to make sure that they haven't misunderstood the question. Therefore, they had no obligation to respond to extremely broad demands.
Not bad. Looks like you can handle being a player on the witch side pretty well too.
Your experience is no match for mine.
Dlanor!
Let us continue. Next, the victims did not die by any method other than homicide. Acknowledged.
Of course, there were no suicides or accidental deaths.
Thank you, Beto, for the tutorial mode of the game. 7th, the victims. That's enough.
Appreciate
Take
it.
it, yeah.
That's enough, Dlanor.
Yeah.
Are you sure? There are still items.
Nah, fuck it.
Yes, that will do fine. I've confirmed the status of the crime scene. From here on, it's time for me to argue back with the Blue Truth.
Sure, fine. Let me hear your masterful theories.
Face off.
Oh boy. The Battler and Erika were enemies. It looked to Beto as though they were having a little fun doing this. That was a very interesting just side point to move to.
Yeah.
She's probably slightly jealous of Erika. Beto thought back on the book she'd read in Featherin's library in which the old her and Battler had fought. That must have been fun as well. Oof, back on the board, let's go.
Yep.
During a short break in the family conference, a horrible, brutal mass murder had occurred. 6 people killed, excluding Battler, had all been women. The remaining men went mad with rage at this cowardice, then broke down sobbing at the sadness of losing their wives over and over again.
Yes!
It's not the right face.
It's not the right face!
It's not the right face.
I live in anticipation. He's so sad to have a gun. Why?
So sad.
Why were they all women? How cowardly can a person be? What's wrong with us? Here we are under the same roof and we're just smoking away, not noticing that members of our own family are getting killed. Damn it.
But who and how? You're not unguarded. The chain was set for all of them.
Who gives a damn about that? I don't care how they were killed, I just want to know who did it. Hey, Genji-san, Koda-san, were the doors and windows of the mansion all locked during the family conference?
Yes! There could be no doubts! In accordance with Madam's instructions, everything is always locked at that time of the night patrol. Tonight was a special case, so everything was locked up right after seeing the children off to the guest house.
How is that possible? I mean, Bella and Maria Chan were inside the mansion, right? They shouldn't have been able to get in, right? If everything really was locked up properly, that couldn't have happened. Doesn't that prove that the building wasn't completely locked up? Well?
He's arguing that Goda's failure to lock up properly might have allowed a stranger to sneak in. At the very least, none of them had known that Battler and Maria had visited the mansion. If those two had come and found everything locked tight, they wouldn't have been able to get inside. If they'd rung the doorbell, Goda probably would have heard them from the servant room, but Goda said that nothing of the sort had happened. How they had entered the locked mansion was a complete mystery.
This is merely an idea, but, for example, what if Madame or someone happened to be near the entrance? Noticed Battler-sama and Maria-sama knocking on the door, ringing the bell and let them in. That couldn't have happened. You were in the servant room then, right, Koda-san? Isn't there a chime in the servant room that goes off when the front door opens? There's no way you would have missed anyone. Well... At that time, Goda was serving drinks as you requested, so he was not in the servant room. Why was there only one servant in the mansion on such an important day? Why was someone as important as Genji-san on duty in the guest house? Does that make any sense? Why was the servant room empty?
It's a good question. My wife formed those shifts. She probably hoped that Goda would be kind enough to serve some fashionable drinks throughout the family conference as well.
But Krasny-san, this is a family conference, right? The most important day of the year, right? Why was Goda-san left as the only person on shift in the mansion? There had been just one more person, everything would be different, wouldn't it? Right? Right?
With half crying, half enraged, jumbled up expressions, Hideyoshi yelled at Goda. Of course, the culprit who killed everyone was the most to blame and the most despicable. However, even if he understood that, he needed to let off some of his emotions by hating someone he could see.
Talked about this. This is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am fully aware of how everyone feels. However, please calm down. Either Goto-san wasn't thorough when locking up, or someone let Butler-san and Maria-san in after they came back from the guest house and then forgot to lock up afterwards. However, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how the culprit snuck in. After all, the mansion is massive. They might have come in much earlier and hid until late at night for all we know. I can understand that you might want to suspect certain people, but please, calm down.
Our guest is right. The culprit is the one we should hate, not the servant who just happened to be on duty. At any rate, let's calm down. I feel as terrible as the rest of you. However, we must take the initiative now and regain our composure.
Good guy, Kraus. And Nikki.
Everyone feels just as sad and devastated, and none of us will ever forgive the one who did this. For that reason, we must regain our composure.
He's right. I still have George. Kraus-san still has Jessica-chan.
Oops, Rudolph!
Yeah, definitely. And Rudolph-kun, you still have Angie-chan waiting for your return, right? It's still too soon to start pointing fingers. The culprit is still on this island, and we can't be sure this tragic crime is over. We need to stay calm and prevent any further tragedies.
Erika's words softly consoled them and gently admonished them. If a servant had said the same thing, Rudolph would probably have jumped on him. However, since it had come from the lips of the guest, a neutral party had seemed to reach their ears.
A neutral party who has never been on this island before.
Yep.
And has no memory of past events. Let's stay cool. We have 3 grown men with us, and guns as well. Judging by the pattern of the murders, the chances of the culprit having a gun are low.
We know there are at least 4 guns.
There are at least 4 guns, yes. In other words, so long as we keep our heads, the culprit no longer has any way to touch us.
She's right. We can't let the culprit do as they please any longer on our island.
Let's find the culprit. We're in the middle of a typhoon. They can't escape from the island, and there's only so many places they can take shelter from the rain in. This island is larger than you'd think. Unfortunately, it will be very difficult to search the island with this many people. After all, if you found the culprit, you might shoot them to death on the spot as you are now. If the frightened culprit has run into that deep forest, you won't find them easily. Right. We should just wait for the typhoon to pass. Have the boat call the police for us, and let them thoroughly search the island. The police are incredible. They'll bring hundreds of people and pick through it with a fine-tooth comb. That forest may be deep, but they'll definitely smoke the culprit out.
The most important thing now is to make sure none of our beloved family members are taken from us. Rudolph, if something happens to you, what will happen to Angie-chan back home?
Kyrie, Butler, damn it. I never had a chance to tell you the truth.
What's the truth, Rudolph?
What is the truth? Kraus-san, I'm sure that everyone in the cousins' room is extremely agitated right now. If you show them that you've regained your composure, I'm sure that will help them relax a lot.
Also, for the record, I think the truth is that Butler is Kyrie's child.
Thank you for the hypothesis.
I didn't want to let that carry on without making a point that I do actually have a hypothesis.
It's okay. We get it. Would you mind heading up there?
Good point. We have to talk with everyone about what we're going to do next.
Please go up with him, Genji-san and Goto-san. I'm sure that Shannon-san, Kanon-san, and Kumasawa-san are all very agitated.
Yes, I'm sure everyone is quite agitated. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Are you certain? Is there anything else we can help with?
That's why I want you to go with Kraus-san. I want you there to help him if something happens. I'd like for the rest of us to check and see that everything's locked up here. We'll head up soon, so please go on ahead.
Understood. If you need anything, please call us.
Genji bowed and Kraus nodded. Kraus also nodded to Eric, then headed up to the second floor with Genji and Goto. In times of confusion, when only men are around, it's easy for a composed member of the opposite sex to take the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, she was able to control them quite naturally. Erika had wanted to get rid of the servants for the time being.
Okay. In that case, let's get to checking the locks.
So Shannon, Jessica, and Kumasawa, the only 3 original
ladies left.
Ladies left, yeah, okay.
Yep. Why? What?
I don't know.
I don't know what you could possibly draw from that. Our problem's gonna be the big window in the lounge.
All I'm saying is that if they're the next 3 to die, I'm not surprised.
We'll see. It looks like it doesn't even have shutters. If they smash this, we won't be able to stop them from coming in. Don't worry. The sound of the glass smashing will be more than enough warning. We'll turn them to Swiss cheese. Quiet, please. I didn't have you stay down here to check the doors and windows. Please listen calmly to what I'm about to say.
When Erika lowered her voice, Rudolph and Hideyoshi realized she wanted to talk about something secret. So they brought their ears closer as soon as they regained their composure. I'm so concerned. What is Erika about to say?
She was able to control them quite easily. Listen up. This crime happened during a short break in the family conference. In that tiny span of time, 6 people were killed without anyone noticing. I can't imagine a crime improvised on the spot going so smoothly. This crime was committed by someone who knew the Lauder's mansion well, inside and out. Well, if they didn't know the inside well. But
a short while ago, they had attacked Goda, suspecting the servants of making a blunder. However, they'd only thought that he'd forgotten to lock up, and were attacking him for letting the mysterious culprit sneak in. They hadn't considered that one of the servants they knew so well might have taken those lives with their own hands. No, they hadn't wanted to think that. People can't easily suspect someone they know well of being a culprit.
At the time of the crime, the mansion was locked from the inside, and only those involved with the family conference existed there. So, Erika killed Kira and the others. Or am I supposed to suspect Hideyoshi-san? It's impossible, unthinkable. I never even considered suspecting Krasny-san or Rudolph-kun. All the siblings had excellent relationships with their spouses. True, the Ashumi family may be strict with discipline and money, but that doesn't mean we treasure our families less than anyone else. Oh. Yes, of course I believe that. I wouldn't dream that any of you would kill your own wives.
That's why I had to do it for- sorry, I should drop this. I should drop this until it's relevant. My money's already on the table, we don't need to hammer it home this hard.
It's okay, it's there.
Eric had already received the red truth proof from Battler that they were not the murderers, so there was no need to argue that point. Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda. None of those 4 was the killer. And yet Erika said this.
However, what about Goda-san? He was in the waiting room the whole time during the family conference, in a position from which he could do anything without anyone knowing. Isn't it a little early to suspect Goda-san? Goda-san came to bring us drinks in the dining hall during the break. He was with us for quite some time. He couldn't have had time to kill 6 people. However, he might have been able to let the actual killer into the mansion. Precisely. Goda-san probably didn't kill them himself. However, it's very possible that he secretly welcomed the actual murderer into the mansion.
Rudolph and Hideyoshi, stunned, looked at each other. They were family. Even a wife of the siblings would be considered family. If the siblings hated each other, it wasn't possible that they'd hate each other's wives enough to kill them. Ava and Rosa were 2 of the siblings, but none of the others could have had any reason to kill Natsui, Kyrie, Battler, or the young Maria. But to a servant like Goda, perhaps they were a little more than complete strangers. I suspect the servants on 2 points. First, the victims are familiar with them, and there were no signs of a fight in any of the crime scenes. I think you know well that there was no disturbance at any of those places. I was thinking that too. Figured Kyrie was used enough to fight so she wouldn't get killed that easily without resisting. That woman wouldn't hesitate to bite your finger off. It does make more sense if the culprit was someone she knew, who suddenly attacked when their guard was down. But Kyrie could tell because Jessica was lying, because she wouldn't have come along this corridor.
She wouldn't have come down this corridor. She was killed by magic. Come to think of it, the same goes for Ava. She knows a dozen kinds of martial arts. She spends every day practically wishing for some ruffian to attack her. She wouldn't have been cut off so easily.
Fucking Ava.
Ava, she's a fucking witch is what she is. Then what about Rosa-san in the parlor? Do you think she'd be easily killed by a stranger without resisting while she had her only daughter with her? And this tells us something else that's important. Something important? The culprit isn't just one person, right? You're right. Both Rosa-san and Maria-chan were in the parlor. If they hadn't both been killed at the same time, there would have been an uproar. Since the culprit was able to do that, they can't just be just one of them. When it comes to Maria-chan, Rosa was like a quick-to-anger mama bear. She wouldn't cower in fear even if someone pointed a gun at her. I see. So it had to be someone who wouldn't rouse Rosa's suspicion until the last second. Now we see that the idea of an unknown outsider sneaking onto the island is actually the less realistic option. The culprit is someone familiar with this island, and there's more than one.
And it's not me. I'm the only person that just arrived and has no knowledge of magical things happening.
I don't know, we'll see.
The culprit is someone familiar, and there's more than one. Erika's reasoning pointed clearly at the ones they should suspect and guard themselves against.
Good girl, Erika, pointing out the culprit. So, you'll suspect the servants?
Yes. Under the current circumstances, they are the most suspicious.
Never mind all the comments about third-rate mystery last time.
The second reason to suspect them is the closed rooms with the chain locks.
Why do the chain locks make them suspicious?
What if there was no chain lock on the closed rooms?
Then they wouldn't be closed rooms. With a single master key, anyone could have made them. I see. The servants had to seal them with a chain so they wouldn't be suspected.
Exactly. By setting the chain, they don't have to worry about being suspected. To turn it around, if the chains weren't set, they wouldn't be able to avoid suspicion since they hold the master keys.
I mean, really, when I feel like I'm at suspicion of something, the first thing I do is break the laws of physics.
Turn the chessboard around as well. Do that a lot.
Not anymore. That used to be fun, then Kyrie ruined it last time.
She ruined the chessboard. How could you? So, the only ones with something to gain from setting the chains are the servants. I'm not trying to protect them or anything, but if so, how do they actually set the chains? Is it possible to set them from the outside?
Considering how they're built, I don't think it'd be impossible. Have you heard this story? Apparently, some mailmen who deliver to apartment mailboxes are known to carry loops of wire with them.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Fucking Erika.
She's so good.
Last episode, she was like, fuck this thing and fuck that thing, that's
and now she's like, I'm gonna use all of these things to trick you, basically.
She's so fucking suspicious, but like only so suspicious in a meta sense.
Yeah.
And the real fun part is going to be trying to only use like real evidence, no magical evidence for this.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
Let's go.
Alright. I've heard of that. Apartment mailboxes often have similar adjoining boxes around them for the nearby room numbers.
I thought that said room murders.
I did as well.
I was like, what?
For the nearby room murders. Those mailmen. I heard they'd sometimes accidentally deliver letters to this next room over if they weren't careful.
These mailboxes are almost always locked. If you put the mail into the wrong one, you'd have no way of getting it out.
In that situation, they're supposed to tell the owner of a mailbox about their mistake. Have that person unlock the mailbox for them and retrieve the improperly delivered mail.
Nah, that's boring.
However, the resident of that apartment would often be out, and going through that process would be a real pain. Because of that, some mailmen would make a little tool out of wire with a loop at the end, and use that to fish the mistakenly placed postcard out through the crack of the mailbox.
I've heard something similar from a friend of mine at a building management company. It seems they'd sometimes get drunks who locked themselves in the bathroom and fell asleep. So to get them out of there, they'd stick a thin metal tool through the crack in the door and undo the latch.
Exactly. All industries have little tools that can easily open things that normally can't be opened.
It's true. Black magic does have very little tools that can be used to open...
Black magic.
The black magic industry. That's what Kinzo was...
The black magic industry.
That's what Kinzo was working in.
I mean, he was trying to make it, I think. I don't know if he was a part of it.
He's a good businessman. He got gold out of nowhere. That's basically making a business.
That's basically magic.
Yeah, if you just ever arrive at someone's house and there's just a pile of gold, you're like, man, that's good business.
That's good magic business.
Good business.
It would be particularly surprising if the servants of a mansion had something of the sort.
Good point. Once you figured out the knack of it, you probably could set the chain from the outside by using a wire. But what about the hat stand? How could you set a hat stand from the outside? I'm sorry.
It's alright.
I know that I'm not supposed to be saying anything or leading you anywhere,
well,
but
no,
like...
all that you do is you have the hat stand leaning against the door.
Ah, yes.
So that when you close the door, it falls further and then eventually falls over the handle and sets the lock.
Ah, I see, yes. That sounds reasonable.
I'm actually thinking about it. That's actually not super far-fetched.
It actually might be a thing that works, but still. I didn't even finish my line.
Oh, didn't you?
No, it's fine. I basically said the line. We can't be sure that it's impossible that elaborate hat stand trick would work.
True, physically speaking, one couldn't say for sure that there existed absolutely no way to set and unset chain locks from the outside. Chain locks allow for the door to be opened to crack. If you stuck something through that crack, you could be able to manage it easily. It's very natural for them to think that.
It was only natural.
However, Erika knew better. Though it might be possible in reality, the Red Truth had already declared that these closed rooms could not have been constructed from the outside. In other words, it was impossible to manipulate the chain lock from the outside. And yet, Erika was guiding their thoughts with the illusion that only the servants could have constructed the closed rooms. With an arrow solemnly revealing some crucial point, she steadily steered the situation in the direction she wanted. Every part of her serious face for the last few minutes had been an act. No, to put it in her words, it was the detective technique for tricking suspects.
I plan to tell Kraustown what I've told you. I'm not saying that all the servants are culprits. However, it's very likely that one of them is a culprit or has been assisting the culprit. We should split them apart and have people with guns keep an eye on them.
I love the choice of wording where she was like, this is a tool for tricking suspects when we know for certain that they're not suspects. Oh, it's perfect.
Know.
It's so perfect.
It's great.
Yeah.
Rudolph and Hideyoshi looked at each other again. What she was saying made sense, and it sounded as though she was calmly smoking out the most suspicious people at this point in time. With her accomplished conversation techniques, Erika was cleverly grasping the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, it's possible to control human nature to this degree.
What do you think, everyone?
Oh, that's
I was expecting glass.
I was expecting glass as well. Oh my goodness.
There you go.
We had to look at that horrifying face for a few more moments. On Uminekos.
Right?
Yeah.
My god, though. I was like, when Erika had the conversation with Lenore earlier, and she was like going all ham about her boyfriend, I was like, why are we being told this? What is going on? What for the purpose of?
No love, my dude.
But then, this time, it's like, Erika was running around, checking all of the closed rooms by herself. It's like, oh. That's why.
That's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. See you guys next time. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. Oh, actually, we're still recording, right?
Yeah.
Go tips. Look at the victims.
Oh yeah, fuck. Why are they half?
Because Erika didn't perform a proper investigation.
Oh, right.
So the details of the cause of death are unknown. They have the same
for everyone.
I didn't
hear that ping.
I didn't either. I'm sure it happened at some point and we just were dummies and missed it. But yeah, we don't know if they're dead or not. They're somehow both the dead and alive at the same time in some kind of cat box, maybe.
Maybe.
What? No. Insanity.